Hello everyone. So in our previous video we discussed that how we can insert a node at a given position in a singly linked list. So in this video we'll code the algorithm and we'll test its working. So here in our singly linked list class, which has a instance variable head of type list node, here I will be creating one method public void insert. Now this insert method will take two things. One is the position where we want to insert, and let's say other is the value which we want to insert for that particular node. Now here we are assuming that this position is valid and it is not crossing the boundaries of our singly linked list. So those edge cases you can handle it by comparing the value of the position, that whether it is less than 0 or it is greater than the length of our singly linked list, and basically you can assign a default value to position and proceed ahead with the algorithm, or you can simply throw an exception. So here we are assuming that position is a valid position and starting from 1. So for example, if we are given with the singly linked list, let's say 1, having these 3 nodes, so 1 would be our position 1, 4 would be at position 2, and 5 would be at position 3. So let's say if you want to insert a value 6 at position 2, so after this method gets executed, it would become something like 1, at position 2 it will come 6, then 4, and then 5. So it means we have inserted value 6 between 1 and 4, because 1 is at position 1 and after our insertion 6 should come at position 2. So this method will perform 3 cases. If position is 1, it will insert at the beginning of the singly linked list, and it will also insert in between or at the end of the singly linked list. So let's see the code for that. So assuming the position to be a valid position, at the first step we will create the node which we want to insert, whose value would be the value which we have passed to our method. Now after creating this node which we want to insert, we will provide a if else part. In the if part we'll check whether position is 1 or not. So if position is 1, it means we want to insert the node at the beginning of the singly linked list. So in the if part what we do is, as head is pointing to the first node which is also position 1, so now head should point to our newly created node after the node gets inserted. So in the first step what we do is, as node next is pointing to null, we want to point it to head because we want to insert this node before head. So node next should point to head, and after node next is pointing to head, in order to make node part of our singly linked list and to insert it at position 1, we need to assign the node's value to head. So now head will point to node which would be at position 1 and which would become the part of our singly linked list. So this is the case 1, and for the rest of the cases we'll see in the else part. So in the else part, let's say if we take this example and we want to insert a node at position 2. So here you can see that initially the linked list, let's say it's 1, 4 and 5, and if you want to insert a node at position 2, so it would become something like this after the insertion. So here what we are doing is, this linkage we are breaking between 1 and 4, and we are assigning it from 1 to 6 and then 6 to 4. So there are two assignments. One is we are reassigning this linkage from 1 to 4 to 1 to 6 and then from 6 to 4. So there are two assignments which we need to do. Now as it is a singly linked list, in order to reassign this value, we need to somehow reach to node 1 which is previous to the position where we want to insert the node. So let's say if we want to insert node at position 2, we need to somehow reach to position 1, and using its next we need to assign it to our node which we want to insert. So in the else part, we'll create a temporary node at previous, because we want to somehow reach to a node previous to this position where we actually want to insert our newly created node. So we'll start from head, and as we have already started from head, we'll create a integer variable count. We'll assign it a value 1, because this count will help us in traversing to position -1. So in a while loop, we will provide a condition as count should be less than position -1, and inside this while loop, till this condition fails, we will keep incrementing previous to its next position by assigning previous.next to previous, and we'll simply increment count by 1 position. So when previous will reach to position -1, this while loop will terminate, and after this while loop gets terminated, what we do is we create a temporary list node by name current, and we assign a value as previous dot next to it. So here let's say if we have reached here, so to current we are assigning previous next, which is value 4, because we need to reassign it to 6. If we break this linkage and reassign it directly, then 4 and 5 will be removed from the singly linked list because there is no reference to them. So at the first step, we are simply creating this temporary reference so that the rest of the singly linked list is intact. Now after assigning previous.next value to current, we can simply remove this linkage and assign it to our node which we want to insert. So here what we do is we do previous.next and we'll assign a value of node to it. So now this linkage is gone and it will point to 6. Now we need to do one more assignment, as this node next should point to 4, because we want to insert node 6 in between 1 and 4 so that it comes to position 2. So for that what we do is we do node dot next and assign a value current to it, because we know that current is pointing to previous next, which was this node. So now 6 next will point to this node, and this way with this 3 step you can see that we have inserted our node in between node 1 and 4, and after this assignment you can see that 6 is now inserted at position which we wanted, which is position 2 in this case. So friend, this is the code to insert a node in a singly linked list at a given position. So now let's test its working in the main method. So here in the main method, I will comment this part, and let's say after creation of singly linked list, head is pointing to null, because here you can see that at the start head is pointing to null. So here what we do is, let's say we insert a node at position 1, value as 3, and then let's say I print it on the console, the singly linked list, using the display method. So if I run the code now, so here you can see it inserted at position 1, which is the first position, having only one node 3 pointing to null. Now let's say what we do is at position 2 we assign 5, and if we run the code, so here you can see at position 1 was 3, so position 2 we got value 5, and now what we do is, let's say at position 1 we insert value 2. So now here you can see at position 1 3 is already there, and if we are doing this, it means 2 will come before 3. So if I run the code now, So here you can see 2 came before 3, which was our this case. So now let's see the else part. Let's say I insert a value 4 between 1 and 2. So we'll do 2, and if I run the code now, so here you can see initially singly linked list was 2, 3 and 5, and when we did that, 4 came in between 2 and 3, which is the position 2, which we actually wanted. Now here after this insertion you can see there are 4 nodes, 2, 4, 3, 5, and let's say if you want to insert at the end, so the position would be value 5 because 4 nodes are already there. So here what we do is at position 5 we want to insert value 7, let's say. If I run the code, so you can see 7 inserted at the end of the singly linked list, which is position 5. So friends, here we saw different use cases. At the first step, the singly linked list became something like this. And when we inserted 5 at position 2, it became something like this. And then we inserted value 2 at position 1. So 3 got shifted ahead and our singly linked list became something like this. I'll just copy this part. So it would be 2. It became something like this because 2 inserted at position 1 and rest of the singly linked list shifted by 1 position. And then we inserted 4 at position 2. So it became something like this. It was like this. So at position 2, 4 came and rest of the list nodes were shifted by 1 position. And here you can see that we had this 4 nodes already. So at the position 5 we inserted 7. So it became something like this. I'll copy this. 7 null. So which is our this case. So friend, this is how we actually insert a node in a singly linked list at a given position. I hope you have find this information useful. And in case if you find this information useful, then please like this video. And if you are new to my channel, then please subscribe to my channel so that you never miss any update. Thanks, have a nice day.